Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It is our quality time interview, a segment where we get to spend a little extra time with our next guest. And today's quality time interview goes to Gypsum, Kansas, with southeast of Saline football coach Mitch Gebhardt. Coach, before we get to any truly football specific questions, I got to ask, how's the new field? I know you guys got that new turf. How's it looking?
Oh, it's great. It's unbelievable how much difference that makes. We had our first day of camp on June 2nd, I believe, and it rained the night before about a half an inch. And before, we'd have been kind of wondering where we were going to practice and what we're going to do and how we're going to go about doing that. And when we got here, it wasn't raining. We walked down and went right to work. So, I think practice, it may even be more important with the footing and all the things that we have now. It looks awesome. The kids are excited about it. We're awful happy to have it.
You guys always had the luxury in case of, bad weather there at Southeast that you could go to nearby Kansas Wesleyan University to play on their turf. But how tough was that? And especially in a playoff situation, you want that true home field advantage. How tough was that?
But it was a little disappointing to have to move. We felt like we earned the right to play at home, and it was disappointing to do that. Our kids adjusted to it well. We work Kansas Wesleyan's great to work with for us, and we go to camp in there. We do some 7-on-7 in there. And we played there before over the last several years when our field wasn't in very good shape. So our kids got used to it, but there's nothing like playing at home. And like I said, Kansas Wesleyan was great to work with. We really appreciated it, but it's awful nice to not feel like we're going to be in that situation
So
again.
you win a state championship, you get a new turf, you win another one, do you get like a new locker room or something?
I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know if that works that way or not, but hopefully we can find out and see what happens. But I don't probably think so. We were in need of this. We got baseball, softball, also got new stuff, and it was awful great to have.
Well, you're an Ellsworth guy, coach. How nice has it been throughout your coaching career that you've been able to be close to home?
It's great. My parents lived there for years. They're in Canopolis, and we're about 45 minutes away, and that's been outstanding. My wife's parents actually lived in Odin, so that wasn't too far either. So, it's been a great setting for us. It's been a great setting to raise our family here, and Cleveland's a great place. Not just football, but everything that they do. The standards set high for our kids, and expectations are high here.
Well, being from Ellsworth, the Ellsworth area, I guess, and then, going to school at Fort Hays, coach, did you always know that you wanted to coach? When did that set in?
I really think so. I think probably my sophomore, junior year in high school, I thought that was something I'd want to do. Both my parents taught. My dad coached when he was younger, and then didn't later on. But I thought it was always something I kind of wanted to do. And as I went through college, I decided I want to be a physical education teacher. And those can go hand in hand, and it kind of did for me. I've coached several different sports, but I've always been in love with football.
Go back to your first job experience. What was it like? What do you remember about starting out at Lincoln?
Well, I actually started at Herndon,
Okay.
out in Northwest Kansas. I coached there for 4 years. It was an awesome experience. It was a really small 1A school. It's not open anymore. My wife and I both taught there. We coached a lot of different things. I ended up being, whether I wanted to be or not, I ended up being the athletic director after the second year, and she helped me with that a lot also. And it was a great experience there for 4 years at Herndon, and then we moved to Lincoln and we're there for 10 years. That was also a great experience, a lot of learning experiences there. I coached a lot of basketball there. Also coached junior high track for several years there. And then I was the football coach. I got to coach with some guys that were outstanding coaches at Lincoln, and had some great families and great kids there also. And then, in '08, we moved here. I didn't actually coach a couple of years while I was here. We had 4 boys that were pretty small. So, I taught fifth grade for a couple of years, and then the head job came open here, and I've been here ever since.
What really attracted you to southeast of Saline? What was that kind of final pull that you make sure, like, yeah, that's definitely where I want to be?
I think the standard and the bar is set high here, and the expectations of our kids and everything that we do We expect them to do things correctly and do well on their tests and all those little things. I think that's a huge draw for me. The kids are great. The families are great. The administration's been very good here, and it's just a good place to be.
You look at where your program's at now, coach, and Southeast of Saline has had that tradition for a number of years, but what you've been able to build is just remarkable. What steps do you think early on, you mentioned, moving back in the late 2000s there to Southeast, what steps do you think you and your coaching staff took to kind of build the culture to where it is today?
And I'm glad you said coaching staff because I've been blessed with the coaches I've got to coach with here. We've had the same staff. They're all teachers for the last 12 years. I won't say we were friends when we started, but we're awful good friends now. And 12 years is a long time to keep the same staff together. Everybody kind of brings something different to the table. And it seems like if some kid doesn't get along with me, they find one of the other guys that they can get along with and work through whatever it is they need to work through. We work very well together. And at this point, everybody kind of knows what everybody's doing. Our meetings don't last as long as they used to because we understand what we're doing, what we feel like we can do. It may not be right for everybody else, but it's how we do things. So I think that starts a lot of things. It starts every year off outstanding just because we kind of know what the other guys are thinking, and I feel like we make good adjustments.
You mentioned earlier that, Southeast, one thing that kind of attracted you to the high school was just the standard in all sports and academics as well. But, I mean, you look at specifically the success that Southeast has had on track and cross country from individual and team standards. How much has that helped and translated to the success that you've had on the football field, having such really good track athletes?
Oh, it's outstanding. I mean, and honestly, our baseball and softball have been outstanding. Volleyball's been good. Across the board, we've been very fortunate to have a lot of good quality athletes and good quality coaches. I mean, every sport, if you look at it, we've got good coaches in every spot. So that always helps. But winning and doing things correctly and those type of things kind of go hand in hand. And when the cross country team's doing those things correctly in the fall, and the football team is, and the volleyball team is, a lot of those kids are your leaders in your school, and people follow those, and it just helps to set standards in everything that you do.
It always seems like here, especially recently, coach, that you've always had like a pretty good throwing quarterback, especially at either a 2A or a 3A level. It's been pretty nice. And obviously, Gannon Jacobson has done a phenomenal job these last couple of years going in his senior season. How much has that helped your style of play and what you like to call, knowing that you kind of had that quarterback that can do a little bit of everything?
Oh, we've been so fortunate with quarterbacks. 16 years we've had good quarterbacks every year. It's just a blessing. I mean, it's been a blessing that we've had those kids, and for the most part, all of them have been good leaders. Also, not just good at those things, and obviously we've had some kids that run the ball better than they throw the ball, and some kids that throw the ball better than run the ball. But our style of offense is, if the quarterback can do both, we're sure going to do it. And over the last several years, we've been able to do that. Gannon's outstanding. He struggled early on. He would be the first one to say that. He threw a couple picks in the first game, and another one or two in the second game, and I think he ended up with 6 picks in 13 games. Then he kind of got things kind of slowed down for him a little bit, but it happens when you're first starting. We knew he was going to be good. He was outstanding. We started coaching these kids when they were little, and he was outstanding as a JV quarterback, as a freshman and sophomore, and we knew once things started coming to him, he'd do an outstanding job. But we've been so fortunate over the years with the quarterbacks that we've had.
Well, maybe one of the compliments that I always think about watching when I watch your program, coach, is that you adapt really well. You might have a quarterback that can throw for 300 yards on any nights, but if you see something in that defense and you inside draw or an inside run that's successful, you'll keep running that over and over until they stop it. How important is that for you that you guys are very adaptive in anything that you do?
Well, and I think that goes back to my coaching staff. Again, we get along real well. We're on the same page. When somebody sees something, we feel like we can take advantage of it. We do that. And again, we've been blessed with good kids that understand what's going on, and they listen, and so that when something is going well, they understand we're gonna do that over and over again until somebody does stop it. But we've been very fortunate over the years. First of all, with our coaching staff, and then with the kids that we have, and we can adapt to to many different situations.
Well, you mentioned when you moved to Southeast that you had 4 young boys. Those boys are starting to grow up a little bit. Grady now in his senior year. What has it been like coaching your sons, especially at the high school level?
People have asked me of have you had problems and things like that, and yeah, of course we have. But for the most part, the boys and I have done a really good job of we're football players and football coach when we're out here, and when we get home, we kind of just drop that. I'm not saying we haven't had some conversations before, at home, but for the most part, we it's dad and sons type of situation. But I wouldn't want to do it any other way. I guess I wouldn't know any other way. But I coached football for a long time before my boys went through, and it's been awful exciting to have my boys go through. And then, and then they've been on successful teams also, and that's been exciting for us also. And it's kind of weird that this is it. Grady is a senior, and
Last question for you, coach, and we'll let you get going. But you've had so much success in Southeast even prior to that state championship. How nice was it though to completely finish off one of those?
well, it was great. I'm not gonna lie, it was outstanding. I think in January I was kind of sitting at my desk thinking about the season and some things like that. And what was great was we didn't lose the last game. And that's always a gut when you think you have a chance to do something special, more special than you were doing, and it doesn't turn out that way. And we've lost some tough games over the years at the end of the year, and those take a little while to recover from if you completely recover from them. But I think one of the greatest things was that we didn't lose that last game, and that's a pretty darn good feeling.
That is Mitch Gebhardt, the head coach of the Southeast of Saline Trojan football team. That'll do it for a quality time interview.